I hope you're all doing well. I really do. Long time no see. That's probably going to be the way of it for a couple of more weeks at least. There's uh, there's definitely some things in the mix though. The universe works in mysterious ways, and I think we should be on track for a bright future. We'll just leave it at that for now. Let me go ahead and turn the chat on. Hopefully, we'll get at least one person in here. Not really expecting to. I want to start off with this. This is something I have been talking about briefly off and on in the last few videos, but it's important. The reason it's so important is because this is one of the things that follow the bill that's about to be passed. And what bill is that? I think we all know. That's the Defining Anti-Semitism bill that virtually everybody on both sides of the aisle can somehow look past their differences and get behind. Isn't that interesting? Right? On every single issue out there, it's pulling teeth to try to get these people to agree on anything when really they're drinking cognac and smoking cigars with each other behind closed doors and dimly lit rooms at a poker table, right? But that's essentially what is happening. You can't have people that seem to disagree so fervently on ideas across the board, but somehow when it comes to war, when it comes to Israel and the Jewish state, they always seem to hold hands and march forward to pass whatever piece of legislation is so dire to be passed. I think I see Jay Cree in here and Mike Jones. Welcome, guys. It was so good to see you. I appreciate you being here. Again, I apologize. I would love to do this more. It's not that I can't. It's just that it's essentially a waste of time. Not a waste of time interacting with you guys. It's a waste of time putting this content out when I know what's going to happen to it, right? So I've been racking my brain, coming up with ideas, buying equipment, doing different things. And Mitz, good to see you. Good to see you as well. I'm glad you could join. To try to come up with a way forward. And I don't think it's up to me to decide that. I think if it was meant to be, it will. So I think we'll be in business in the not too distant future. So I'm going to jump into this. I'm not going to read a whole bunch of it because we know the play, right? The Christian nationalist danger behind the appeal to heaven flag that was recently spotted by, I believe, a senator or some bullshit. It's kind of like the Gadsden flag, right? Really, don't step on me. It's like keep the government in check. They're trying to make that out to look like you're a terrorist if you believe that. Of course, the people in power would try to make you look like a terrorist for questioning their power. Justice Samuel Alito appears fond of insurrectionist symbols. The New York Times insurrectionist symbols, right? That's a big part of what January 6th was. We called it ahead of time for exactly what it ended up being. And all it was and has been since is a way to group people into this domestic terrorist frame, right? To make them out to look like this is the biggest threat we face as military age Chinese, Pakistan, Iranian, you name it. People that truly hate the United States and everything that it has done to them and their loved ones, including the mass murder of many innocent civilians. So they have a right to hate us as you would them if your family was disposed of in the most debaucherous of ways. So Christian nation, don't forget that's what this is all about, according to this. This is the intelligence there. Take it for what it is, but Times reported last week that the Justice flew an upside down American flag. Yeah, I think we're in distress. Anybody think differently, I would love to hear the argument why you would think we're still peachy keen and everything's on the up and up. Take a look around, right? Look at the economy. Look at, I mean, every single facet of the political spectrum is completely messed up. Then you got your defense agencies, you got your FBI's, DHS's, DOJ's, CIA's, NSA's, all of that, all of those, we're finding more and more out about how they really secretly have been planning behind closed doors to ensnare every innocent American that happens to think outside of their ever constricting, narrowing box. And they're building the framework for it. As I said about the domestic terrorism unit when they created it, right? They didn't do it for nothing. His far-right views did not spare his beach home either, where he displayed an appeal to heaven flag last summer. Oh, the insurrectionist, the terrorist. Appeal to heaven, right? Well, what's behind it? Is there more? Is there something that we're not really aware of? Is it some secret organization that flies under the radar in cohorts that are secretly deciding together to destroy civilization as we know it? No, not at all. Not at all. It's rather exactly what it sounds like. It's a Christian organization that they're really intent on just spreading the truth. The truth, however, is something that seems to be hard to find these days. And when you do find it, often it's deemed as destructive or terroristic or harmful, hate speech, you name it. They'll have a term for it just to attack it because their lies need to proliferate. And it won't. They won't. There's a price to pay. Not by me, not by you. Judgment is afoot. And I think if you just take a look around, I think that's rather evident. Right? And that's what the Mike Johnson thing, just like Trump, right? Mike Johnson, this Speaker of the House, he is a good Christian, this guy. No, but they're going to use him just like they used Alex Jones with free speech, just like they used Tucker Carlson with media and spreading misinformation and getting people radicalized to ideas that they say are the cause of all of these mass shootings. And I have articles up to show this as well, that these are the causes of the mass shootings, that these are the reasons that the nation is the way that, but it couldn't be further from the truth. What Christian is out there that is doing any type of violence to anybody, that is doing anything to subvert anything at all that would be prosperous and honest? But that's the problem, right? When you're trying to push these real radical agendas, right? Like when you want it to, for us to believe that it's okay to transition a 5-year-old child because you've seen him playing with a Barbie doll. Your boy happened to pick up his sister's Barbie doll, and you got some whack job mother that's watched too much CNN. And she's like, oh my God, I knew it all along. And she wants to go get his balls chopped off. Right? That's what, dare you. Well, we've seen what happens. We've seen what happens when that happens. There's fathers that have no longer any communication whatsoever with their children because of such outrageous things as that. And all of those things are supposed to be okay, but it's not okay. Up is down and down is up in the end times. Looks like we're there. If I had to guess, let me move on. Yeah, and guys, if there's any background noises or wobblings or weird things, I guess I'm just grateful that I haven't been shut down already. But I'm working with like a half-ass setup right now. But it won't remain this way. It won't even be this channel, but you guys will know where to find me. Many of you, I think everybody here probably already does. It's good when Scientific American gets into the mix. About 7 steps, because I, got to keep track of the conspiracy theory. This term has done so much for me. It has shown me so much, because they love to slap these labels on things that they are doing as much as they can to discredit. They're going out of their way to try to make you think that this is some ridiculous notion, that you should never entertain these ideas. And usually when they do that, it's something that you should be paying attention to. Because as history, the recent history, in fact, has shown us since COVID, we could go further and more in depth, but we don't need to. Just since COVID alone, we have seen how the media has continuously lied to us, telling us lie after lie after lie. But if you happen to say anything, calling them out on it, being like, well, that's clearly a lie, 100% factually a lie, because here's the truth and it's proven. Oh, no. You're a problem now. You're a terrorist. They'll turn your skin yellow. They'll do whatever it takes, right? We've seen all sorts of hit campaigns. We've seen people lose their livelihoods, businesses shut down, all sorts of things, because you didn't go along with the official narrative. Is this going to slow down? Is it all of a sudden, do you think government and these psychopaths that are controlling the levers of power, do you think they're just going to stop or ease back at all? No. We are full throttle ahead, guns cocked, ready to World War III any day now. I think we've been in it. I made a post literally the day that I believe we officially entered World War III. I think history will reflect that as well. You never know when you're in it until, they didn't know they were in the Civil War until after a good amount of time. And then they went back. They were like, yeah, I probably started there, Just like World War III. Conspiracy theories are everywhere. Here's how you can figure out when you're being fooled. I can tell you before they do. If you're reading a mainstream media article or listening to a politician, or any one of the billionaires out there that are feeding you nonsense, telling you what the plan for the future is. That's how you know how to identify one, because that is all of their ridiculous ideas about how all of these things are going to play out and what's real, they're the conspiracy theorists. They're the one conspiring. They're the one theorizing on how it's going. All we are trying to do is connect the dots and find out what's really going on. Realists. But in the art of war, you accuse your enemy of what it is that you're doing before they have the opportunity to call you out for it. And that's kind of the same playbook here, but obviously this is much more broader than that. There's a lot more to it, because they use that term so frivolously and superfluously. They slap it on everything. It's lost a lot of its power, but it's not stopping them from using it, because they don't care. That's the thing. They know people are waking up. They know that what they're saying is fool. It doesn't matter. It's not going to stop the party, the machine. They're going to continue to do what they've been doing. And they're going to steamroll over any criticisms, any arguments, anything at all. It's irrelevant to them. But when it starts becoming a problem is when they start legislating against your freedoms. Because then it becomes real. Then it becomes something that you actually will be penalized for. And not just penalized, but life-changing penalties may fall upon you or your family member, somebody that you love, somebody you care about. Things will be vastly different when the time comes that we can no longer speak about certain topics. Of course, it'll be the topics, and they will frame them in such a way that it'll be let me give you an example. So right now, the redefining anti-Semitic legislation, right? That's basically passed. I don't see anything really standing in its way. As a matter of fact, I see more momentum getting behind it, even though it is in stark contrast to our First Amendment. When that passes, if it passes, but when that passes, there'll be, let's just say, you have the same type of shit that they always do, right? They're trying to get rid of guns, for instance. Now, right now, you can say what you want about Jews to a certain degree. Like you can't, just like you can you can't threaten them, right? You can't say anything that could call for their harm in any way. But after this bill is passed and they redefine what it means to be anti-Semitic, all they have to do is start staging these false flag shootings and have 3 Jews killed, or have it near a synagogue, right? Because, oh no, now you can't call it a false flag because now you're just being anti-Semitic. As before, you would have been able to, right? They're going to push as much under that umbrella as they possibly can while they have it before they start expanding it. And they will expand it. They always do. The next one's probably already written. As a matter of fact, it is. I've read it. The hate speech one, right? I think that was 2019. The domestic terrorism one for 2019. Just sitting, waiting. They will be passed. It's just a matter of time, and then the speech is gone. So what happens then? People believe false conspiracy theories for a wide range of reasons, including the fact that there are real conspiracies, like efforts by the Sackler family to profit by concealing the addictiveness of OxyContin. Yeah, duh, right? Everybody knows about that. But no, let's not talk about, I don't know, the Jewish family behind all of the central banks throughout the world. No, we can't. Fuck, no. Right? The real root, the real problem, like we could solve, if we could solve, I should say, a lot of these other problems. It's not going to do any good until you cut the head off the snake. You could rip off as many scales, you could chop off his tail, you can do a lot of things to that snake. He's still going to exist and persist. It just so happens that there is a piece of legislation that is going to prevent you from doing exactly that. Getting to the very bottom of where all of these problems stem from. These crazy, outlandish conspiracy theories about how there possibly could be a family or many families, 13 maybe, families that have decided they're going to do everything they can to rule the world, to own the countries. And how do you own the countries? Well, you own the monetary systems of those countries. You own the economies. You own the leveraging of those systems, those countries. If you own the money, you own the country. If you're loaning money to the country, then they are subservient to you. And there's only one group of people that I'm aware of that has been doing that for centuries. Causing wars, causing economic collapses and devastation, genocides, mass starvations, things that are just so atrocious that have been going on for so long, evil at such heights. And we won't be able to talk about it. The extreme consequences of unfounded conspiratorial beliefs could be seen on the staircase of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. That's what I mean. They're always going to tie January 6th, right, into everything because, well, we've heard it out of their own mouths. It was worse than Pearl Harbor. It was worse than 9/11. You mean a bunch of feds breaking away? Like, we've covered that in depth. We talked about Emily Rainey, who is the PSYOPs captain in the military, PSYOPs captain, right? Top dog. as far as PSYOPs, not only attend, but happened to bus 100 people from North Carolina in on taxpayers' dime. That's a pretty big deal. Nobody in the press talked about that. Everybody was focused on the obvious one, right? Ray Epps, who, for some reason, as much as the media seems to hate everybody that attended January 6th, the one that's on tape calling for an actual insurrection, essentially, the one that's saying, we're going to go inside of the Capitol. The only one, for some reason, they got his back. Well, we know what's going on, right? We know what's really going on when the FBI is questioned under oath about, did you have anybody attending the Capitol on January 6th that may have been doing things to upset to get it, basically agent provocateurs. And they're like, oh, we can't speak on that. Well, if the answer was no, you would, right? You would ease the thoughts of the American people trusting their government, because you'd be like, no, of course we wouldn't. That's outrageous. Why would we be setting up half of the voters in this country? That's just outrageous, right? That's a cause for war. Now, they didn't say that. They said, no, sorry, we can't answer that. Skip that one. Like I said, sorry about the noises, guys. Oh, here's how you know that this is going to pass. This is from the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. This was established in 1917. They have done a lot to get things done, right? They've done a lot. Now, 60 Jewish groups from left to right, outside of politics, they can all come together and agree that creating national coordinator to fight anti-Semitism is the best thing they can do. So not only are they going to, let me go on, let me read. More than 60 Jewish organizations across the political spectrum are lining up behind a bill that would establish a coordinator of government efforts to fight anti-Semitism. Well, what the fuck would that look like? The joint effort is an expression of American Jewish political society not seen in years. Guy, do you not see what's happening? Like, it's not that I want to get on here and talk about this all the time. I don't like the perspective that it makes me look like, right? I'm not specifically anti-Semitic. But I see the writing on the wall. I see what's happening. I see how they're using a group. I see that this was written thousands of years ago and prophesied in a certain book. And I see it playing out precisely like that. I see a red heifer about to be sacrificed. I see the creation of an entire Zionist state. I see the rise of the Antichrist. I see World War III. I see a lot of carnage. I hope that enough people along the way wake up, or at least enough to care about them and their family enough to make the appropriate, necessary precautions. And that includes repentance. I know I'm not here to preach to you, but we're not in times like other times where there may be, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a long tunnel, and not everybody's getting to the end of it. And a lot of that greatly depends on whether the mistakes you've made you own up to, and you truly are regretful. Or, I mean, you can Never mind. Let's skip that. The joint effort is an expression of American Jewish political solidarity not seen in years. Groups that signed a letter to support the bill range from J Street on the left, the Zionist Organization of America on the right. The signatories include organizations whose leaders rarely share the same stage. Give me a break. You mean the typical left-right paradigm? The divide and conquer strategy they've been using? Yeah, they seldomly share the same stage. Until it comes down to something that they intend on gaining more power and taking less freedom or more freedom from us so we have less of it, then they always seem to walk in lockstep. They all seem to get along fine then. Anyways, the letter sent Wednesday to the House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is a fervent supporter of Armageddon, and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries acknowledged the ideological range of the signatories and said they are united in our deep concern over the exponentially rising incidence of anti-Semitism in this country. Again, have you read the new? Let's read it. Let's read the new. I don't have it pulled up, but we're going to pull it up. Rights group warned that the definition could further chill freedom of speech as protests continue on. You don't say. The United States House of Representatives. I actually, maybe it's right here. I want the actual definition because it is so incredibly broad. It doesn't matter. We'll get to it. I got a little bit of time this weekend. I'm gonna make more videos, at least one more. I'm not getting any more. Are you guys still here? Is anybody still here? I guess 5 of you are. But I'm gonna get wrapping it up. Before I go, if there's anything you guys want to say or ask, let me know. But this is such an important topic. Like literally the most important topic that we're facing right now. Because if we can't have the ability to discuss, and don't get it twisted, don't think for 1 second that it's going to stop at anti-Semitism, though it won't necessarily even need to for them. They'll be able to get away with as much as they want just using that alone, by what I had stated earlier about using anti-Semitism but just staging things slightly different, right? Including a Jew or two and being like, oh my God, the reason they're doing this, right? They'll have the hero. There's always the hero, right, that comes and saves whoever, does something, lost a fan. They'll make that person the Jew. Whatever it is, they'll make sure that if you dare criticize it, call out, see the truth, see how they screwed up again, like they always do, and leave an important detail out, like, I don't know, the shadows of the time of day, for instance, should match up, but instead they're completely opposite, saying that they're like 6 hours off, really, according, like shit like that. Things that these armchair detectives do a great job at finding and breaking down and sharing. But now there's really no place to share it. It's hard. They're like, oh, well, Rumble's a free bullshit. Rumble's another YouTube. They make it seem like, oh, well, if you're on the right, you can speak. Yeah, you can speak about shit until you can't, right? As long as you're on the right, you can be on Rumble. If you're on the left, you can be on YouTube, but both of them are bullshit. And BitChute, I guess it's probably one of the real ones left, but good luck using it. Nobody uses it. It's impossible to get, like, it's just a bad program. It's probably ran by MI5 or MI6, and they're just collecting data of people who post on it. What's up, Peniel Power? Good to see you. Anywho, guys, thank you. again, sorry for not posting for a while. I'm getting settled. A lot of ideas are coming to me. I'm always open to ideas. And is the email I kind of, while I was off, you know how I take breaks from time to time. I figured while I was off trying to reorient everything and come up with a new way to approach this, I figured I might as well just take the break as well, right? Two birds with one stone. So good. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully, you guys will continue joining me. Get the word out. I know this channel is a failed channel. I know that it's about as censored as it could possibly be, but still, try to share it. Try to get it out there. It's important that at least there's the possibility that I still exist out there for some. All right, guys, nothing but love. I appreciate you all being here. Have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good week, month, year, decade, century, millennium. Much love. Peace.